Yeah, buck, big buck. Big buck, dude. That was the Big 10. Guys, welcome to September's episode. We are changing cameras over right now from summer activity to fall activity in anticipation of pre-rut. Guys, bucks are shedding velvet right now. Patterns are changing. And we're putting cameras up with full anticipation of those pattern changes using past intel to help us gather better information for this coming hunting season. I've said it before, you'll hear me say it again, I will continue to say it. Help the deer do what deer want to do. All right guys, so we're at a spot on my farm that is probably the #1 scrape location as well as mature buck activity. Year in and year out, this is a couple years ago I came in during, it was early shed season, late kind of just season scouting, and this tree right here, every branch that was under it was absolutely destroyed with scrapes, and trees around it were just destroyed with rubs, and everything seemed to fit for this exact location. I've got water, I've got deep timber, I've got high prairie grass, I've got this ridge line, I've got food to the south. Everything just kind of clicks in this one spot. And I found it via scouting and came in, it would have been last year. I hung a rope scrape. Guys, I'm not gonna go into how to hang a rope scrape. There's lots of information out there on how to do it. I hadn't tried it, I did. It worked really well. I got pictures of goalpost on there just a day or two before I shot him. That was a really key part of gathering information on big buck activity to lay out a hunting plan. So I've hung my MicroLink S camera up here. This is the second year in a row I've run this specific camera and the antenna because service here is not the greatest, but the antenna helps get kind of one extra bar to help get pictures out. I'm gonna put a little deer scrape essence on this rope scrape. We're gonna get out of here, and this camera last year lasted the entire deer season for gathering intel on deer. All right guys, so Runway, you've heard me reference this multiple times in multiple Building Whitetails episodes. There was one made episode, we're gonna drop the link right here, that was in regards to improving that location on my property. It's where I got so much information, pictures-wise, from Goalpost. It's what told me, hey, Goalpost is here, he's locked down with a hot doe. You know, this was really that small window of opportunity that he presented every year, where he was here. This was his home for a small amount of time as he was breeding the does that lived on my farm. Fast forward to today, right now, we've got a camera in there, it's active, it's gathering intel, hopefully on my next potential deer that might harvest this fall. But we've got this bedding area here off to the east, and the deer come from Runway, did a little bit of work, and maneuvered them back along this edge, which eventually will filter them over to the food plots. But guys, I just want to hammer in downwind side of bedding, downwind side of bedding. Mature bucks use bedding or use the wind in their favor constantly. They live and they die by the wind. Therefore, we as hunters trying to pursue mature bucks need to live and die by the wind. I've been able to implement camera usage that way. So what we're going to do is hang a camera on the downwind side of this bedding area. We've got this area of shorter grass here that the deer like to traverse. We've got the big warm season grasses out here to my right off to the east, and so the deer are bedding out there. But these bucks on a north wind, an east wind, even southeast wind, they're going to run this path. It's one, the path of least resistance, and two, it's going to be the downwind side of a lot of primary winds that we get during the rut. We have historically, I've kept a log, we have a lot of east winds here during those first 2 weeks of November. So keeping track of that, moving forward, building a plan for this fall. Now guys, I don't expect this spot, this is early September right now, I do not expect this spot to heat up for another month. And even I'd say the 1st of November is when this is going to start getting super hot in regards to basing that off of past camera intel. But I'm putting this camera in with anticipation because I don't want to be in here, you know, end of October, right before rut is happening and disturbing all the deer activity on this portion of my farm. So with that said, we're gonna hang a camera with the anticipation of gathering intel from here, but primarily into that pre-rut and during the main peak of the rut in that activity period. Yeah, buck, big buck, dude. That was the big 10. He just ran to the left. That was the 10. I can still hear him. That's really interesting because when we harvested this corn last year, he was bedded right here. So guys, that's a wrap on September's episode. I tried to dive in and kind of paint a picture for you guys on getting information, using information in the past to help us with our trail camera plans and execution now. And guys, I really want to hammer home also, really pay attention to patterns, activity, just all kinds of information that you can gather from your cameras that we would otherwise normally overlook, comes in so just unbelievably helpful in the future. So think about 2022, 2023. I mean, guys, I've got bucks right now. I've got young bucks that I've got patterns started on that I'm seeing, and I wouldn't have that if I hadn't paid attention in the past and learned off of past patterns from mature bucks. And it was something I didn't used to think of. It was something that I've, over time kind of developed, but having used that in the past has really made me a lot more aware of paying attention to so much more in regards to trail cameras, pre-rut, all the activity of cameras, encompassing everything involving that. So guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Would really appreciate that. And best hunting season to you.